Tiffany, Charlotte, and Patrick, welcome to New Mexico in Focus.
Thank you for having us, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Well, Tiffany, can you share how the coalition is working to empower tribal communities, especially as domestic violence, sexual assault, those are sensitive topics?
Absolutely. So we are a member-based organization, meaning that we are a coalition of tribal communities, agencies, and direct service providers who are already doing this work, who are already established advocates and direct service providers doing work to bring violence awareness to our tribal communities through events and activities that are happening throughout the tribal communities that we serve. And so different tribal communities right now are doing sexual violence awareness events. They're hosting runs, they're hosting trainings and presentations, and that's where the coalition steps in. Our organization is staffed with 17 people from tribal communities. And we bring with us skills and experience and knowledge, even firsthand experience of being survivors ourselves. And we come to the tribal communities that we are asked to be at to provide presentations and trainings for each awareness month that is to be held. So the month of April has been busy for us as we've been traveling to different tribal communities, rural and even in the native urban populations such as Albuquerque, to provide training and education. In May, we will be doing a lot of advocacy work with MMIP, the Missing and Murdered Indigenous People crisis, to bring about the awareness of the epidemic that has been happening since colonization. And so with May coming up, we will be very busy tabling at many tribal communities. We just received one invite for Jicarilla Apache Nation. We have a lot of events planned out, and we will be supporting as many members as we can.
And Charlotte, can you talk a little bit about why the coalition's work is important to focus on Native culture and the resilience of Indigenous people?
Yeah, I think that our coalition is very different and unique in the way that we have decided to do preventative violence work. Excuse me. I think that, culturally, as Tiffany had talked about, we are member-based, also survivor-led, which means that we have all our own lived experiences with violence of some kind. And I think that goes for a majority of our communities who can also empathize with the types of generational trauma that they've also endured. This being on various degrees of violence, not just domestic violence. And I think our approach is specifically to aid our communities and is the best because we acknowledge how cultural practices also come into play to support our communities, and we see how those approaches have been beneficial to our communities. We see it every day, and I think as we continue to do this work and we continue to work with our communities, we will continue to see the growth in our communities and see that they do appreciate this work that we do and appreciate the support that we provide, and we can only hope to just continue to do it for them.
And Patrick, anything to add to the culturally responsive work?
Yeah, I mean, everything we do kind of includes traditional practices as well. We adapt community-based practices in all of our program area work. So when that comes to MMIW, sexual violence, domestic violence, we work with all our different communities in the best way that we can. And we center advocates in the work that they do in their communities because they're the experts. And we all have our own experts and our own expertise. But working with advocates and community members in their community, we really focus on their experience and their ability to bring traditional practices and healing practices in violence prevention work. So it's really collaboration, and that's why being a membership-based organization really helps us along those lines.
And Tiffany, you had mentioned some events coming up in May. There is a national observance for missing and murdered Indigenous people. There's a case in the Southwest in particular that has really impacted tribal communities, not only in the Southwest, but across the country, of Emily Pike, who went missing and then was found murdered. The coalition held a vigil for her. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, Emily's, first, I just want to say that Emily Pike's murder has touched all of us, and I want to express my condolences to the family first before I speak. And how the event came to be was through actually a community member of the Jemez Pueblo. And so this individual reached out to the coalition to see if we were going to, do anything to honor Emily. And when community speaks, we know that our people are grieving and are mourning a loss, even if we didn't know her personally. I think we were all impacted directly with knowing somebody. We've all, experienced somebody close to us that we've lost. I've lost my best friend when we were in our early 20s, and she left behind 2 children. And so that is one of the reasons why I come to do this work. And as a survivor myself, I know that there's a possibility of me not being here today. And I know how important this work is to our communities, because we've all been impacted. We've all been touched by stories like Emily's. She was only 14 years old, just a baby, and to hear the way that she was found and the leak that had happened on Facebook through I believe it was the Sheriff's Department, caused a lot of outrage for not only the community of the San Carlos Apache Nation, but for tribal communities across what we now call North America or the United States. And it just felt like a total disrespect to our Native people of how it was described how she was found. But it also created the awareness of what is happening, and this is not an isolated case. We know that this happens, unfortunately, across our tribal communities and in urban settings where a lot of our Native people are now situated and populated. And with the memorial, we really wanted to show our solidarity with the San Carlos Apache Nation. We also wanted to show our love and care for Emily and her family, to honor her in a huge way that continues to get the attention of the media, so that we have a platform to speak about the awareness, because that's why we exist as a coalition, to continue to talk about the experiences that we continue to see in our tribal communities that have often been invisible for many of us. We tend to see many of these cases go cold, and we know that even our family members are doing the work themselves to find answers. Emily's family is still seeking answers. It's so disheartening to hear that Emily's family didn't know about her disappearance until a whole week later. That should never happen. A family should be told immediately when their child has gone missing, and that is why it makes me very proud to hear that New Mexicans and our policymakers, our lawmakers, are making a huge stance and making some changes by implementing what we now know as SB 41, the Turquoise Alert System, because that will save lives, it'll make a difference. We were recently asked by a community member, how will this save the lives of a sexual violence survivor or a domestic violence survivor? And our response was 48 hours are the most crucial times when a person goes missing. Often it is a result of a sexual assault or a domestic violence incident. We don't know what really happened to Emily Pike, but in most cases, when evidence is there, we often see that a murdered person also experienced sexual violence, and it's heartbreaking. And so the community did come together in March to honor Emily Pike. We had a wonderful turnout of different tribal community people, non-Indigenous people. We had the Action 7 news station also there to cover our story. We allowed speakers an open mic so that family members can continue to say their loved ones' names, because it is important to say their names. We want to make sure that these cases no longer stay cold. We need to continue to say their names so that they are getting the attention that they need and deserve, so that there are some justices that is happening for the family, answers, because oftentimes we know of cases that never receive any kind of support or answers. Back in 2016, there was data that we found where 5,712 Native people were missing, and only 116 were entered into the NCIC system. That's a lot of people that were missing and never entered into a system, so those cases probably gone cold.
And you had mentioned the turquoise alert, and Charlotte, you focus on policy. Can you explain what the turquoise alert is?
Yeah, so the Turquoise Alert Bill, SB 41, is basically a rapid response that basically informs all personnel involved in finding a missing person that the person has gone missing. And so when we think about the turquoise alert, it's very similar to an amber alert. It's very similar to a silver alert. It really is just to basically pinpoint Native relatives who have gone missing. And this can also be from mental illness. It doesn't have to just be from a domestic violence situation, because this can various situations, like Tiffany brought up, can really influence why someone maybe flees and can be put in a situation where they do go missing. And so it's important to talk about the bill also in being inclusive to, mental illness relatives and any relative who does go missing and does deal with this. I think to make a very honest distinction about this bill is that it is a response. It is not something that is preventative of these things that do happen. There still needs to be advocacy work done to make sure that we are still making people aware of why this is a problem for us and why we need to continue to make sure that preventative measures do still happen. Educating our community is a really big one, and we definitely continue to do that through our training and education, also through our policy and advocacy. But the turquoise bill is a really great step in the right direction to making sure that we are being accountable to our relatives who do go missing.
And Patrick, Tiffany and Charlotte were talking about the importance of having, these cases continue to be and not get lost. Why is that important?
Yeah, it's incredibly important because the system doesn't really allow for families to get the best help and support that they need right now. And for a long time, it's only just now becoming, more aware on the national scale and the state scale. But really, we have so many impacted family members that have gone through a system that refuses to take the reports or loses their reports, doesn't investigate cold cases in the jurisdiction that they're from. And of course, jurisdiction is a massive issue in terms of who's taking over the case, who the contacts are for the case. And there's a lot of conflict that goes on between jurisdictions on responsibility and agency that are involved in a case. So there's a large swath of things that go on that impacted family members deal with. And oftentimes you're finding impacted family members becoming their own investigators, especially if it happens on tribal land and it's either a murdered case or suspected of murder, and the federal government gets involved due to the jurisdictional responsibility of the federal government over murder on tribal land. It starts to get really complicated because federal agents don't really give the same time and energy to those cases that tribal police would if they're in that community. And even with tribal police, there's a lot less resources. But federal agents can be very difficult to make that case really get the attention it needs, especially for rural tribal communities where it's just the infrastructure and the resources are a lot different. So it's very important that these cases continue to be talked about and to continue to be brought in the media and among law enforcement, especially when it comes to collaboration and support for families. Families need trauma-informed support from the personnel that they deal with. They need, housing support, healthcare support, behavioral health support. They need a lot of different forms of support that encompasses a large array of things that they deal with. So yeah, these cases need absolutely to be opened up, investigated, especially if they're cold cases, and to make sure they have the attention and care that they need over a long period of time, or a short period of time if it goes well.
And Tiffany, the work from the coalition is year-round. It's not just during these observances. And can you just, briefly talk about why it's important to do this work?
It's incredibly important. As Native people, we are often underrepresented at policy tables to talk about laws that do impact us, especially when violence is so prevalent in our tribal communities. Statistics from the Department of Justice shows that 4 in 5 Indigenous women will experience violence in their lifetime. And 1 in 3 Native women will also experience sexual violence. But we know as advocates that that number has to be at least 2 in 3, because a lot of our women do not come forward to report their sexual assault. So we know that's underestimated. So all year round, not just May, not just April, not just October, we are doing this work nonstop to make sure that our voices are represented at the federal level. We do a tribal consultation with our tribal leaders each year to talk to the federal government about the needs that our tribal communities need. Historically, we have always been underfunded, under-resourced, and that has continued to be our fear, this time around for this new administration. And we want to make it clear that our communities are deserving of protection and strengthened laws for our Native women. Our Native women are the caretakers of our community. They hold a lot of knowledge for ceremony. They are what keeps our community strong, are bearers of children. And that is the way that we were taught in our tribal communities, that our Native women and our children need to be uplifted and protected. And a lot of those ways have been lost. And we continue to see this through violence perpetrated against Native women.
Well, I want to thank all of you for being here today and for sharing the work that you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you.
having us.